I'm taking the time now to discuss a subject that, or subject matter, I should say, that, going back into my normal routine of discussing subject matter that I excel in, like such as the last video. I wanted to discuss things that are ongoing in East Asia. Like now you have, the Red Chinese, threatening our allies like Australia, saying that, basically in a nutshell, you guys are basically a bug and we can squash you. And your little exercises mean nothing to us. In fact, they don't even register on our radar because you're such a tiny, nothing country with a tiny nothing military. I mean, that's essentially what the Red Chinese have said. I mean, no offense to people living in Australia, but I mean, your regime has disarmed your whole civilian population, making you even easier to conquer by the Red Chinese. I mean, you guys have basically been subverted and infiltrated in basically every way we have. You are literally, I think every English speaking country, aside from maybe Britain itself, but every English speaking country has been infiltrated and subverted by the Red Chinese. And a friend of mine on here, whose channel I sort of share an informal partnership with, King Cash YouTube channel, I wanted to give him respect where it's due. He discovered something from, some people in Canada that are talking about how a UN or a CHICOM or foreign cleaning companies of some sort or some kind of, uh, you know, secret agent people are going to be basically going around delivering pastries to people's homes, and they're experimenting on this in Newfoundland. And this is basically a COINTELPRO operation of some type, and I think it also has something to do with these beast marks. You know what I mean? The snake bites that are going around. Um, so if they're doing things like that up there, and we know that they're what I reported on is going on, where the Chi-Com air activity is so widespread and so commonplace now that they have to say that it's being done under Clementi, their trainer, private training company firm. um, you know, that's a red flag right there, because that would mean that essentially that's just the tip of the iceberg, and there's a whole hell of a lot more going on beneath that they're just not saying, but they have to cover it up. So Clementi's running cover for Red Chinese air activity, but of course, for a complete operation, you need you need air support, you need naval activities out in the waters, and you need ground activity. So, what I've told people with the CHICOM fourth generation warfare, and I have an excellent series on that, by the way, if you want to go back and look at it, I go into very, very stark details pertaining to how they infiltrate, subvert, and how they use new technologies like camouflaged cruise missile systems like the Caliber, also known as the Club K, which the Club K fits 4 calibers in one container, and how they've basically snuck them into every nation they plan on utilizing their fourth gen doctrines on. Fourth gen warfare is hybrid warfare, where they combine basically infiltration, subversion, um, marrying blitzkrieg to Trojan horse, which Trojan horse basically means they slip their people into the nation that they plan to conquer, and then they basically make it impossible for anything behind the lines to be safe, where they basically go for it's a paralyzing type of a move where they basically, when a signal's given, they will all pop out of everywhere. They're disguised as foreign students. They're disguised as, in some cases, not all, but in some cases, they're disguised as like small business owners, and in other cases, they work at these Chi-Com front companies for the Red Chinese regime. They work at the ports that they've bought. I mean, they have people hidden everywhere, And our borders are undefended, which is also done by the Chi-Com owned, bought and paid for political parasites that essentially made the failed border policy in the first place to let, as a way to mask and hide the Chi-Coms and others that are sneaking in for the express purpose of doing us all harm. So, I don't like that any more than the next person. I think it's treason. And their traitors have done this, and that's why that they won't do anything about it, because other than gripe and complain, they won't actually do anything about it because they're in on it. They work with these Chi-Coms. They work with these foreign regimes that want to take us down, essentially. They're done with America. The globalists are finished with this country. That's what people don't understand. Oh no, they care about the tax base. No, they don't. They're done with the tax base. They don't need us anymore. They don't need tax chattel anymore. That's why they're blowing money left and right, driving this nation into the ground, driving it like they stole it, because they work with the enemies of this nation. They're traitors. They're letting them in. They've been subverted. I mean, we've been subverted to like the nth degree. I mean, it's all being ran into the ground. Our allies are also suffering the same fate. I mean, you see it going on north of us. You see it going on in Australia, New Zealand, in Europe. I mean, it's happening everywhere. I mean, all these nations have been subverted and are being driven into the ground. I think every English-speaking nation, with the exception of Britain, has suffered through this. Britain obviously is quite a ways from out of the way of the Red Chinese, so they really haven't done it to them to the extent that they've done it, in North America and the Pacific. But you have all that going on, and you basically have it where I wanted to give, like I said, give King Cash a shout out for discovering what was going on in Newfoundland with in Canada with the pastries, with the Red Chi-Com front company or the UN front company or cleaners or whoever it is dropping it off up there. It's a COINTELPRO op. It's part of the subversion, and it all has to do with the beast marks. Like I said, now I know I'm repeating things, but I mean this is just getting nuts. This is getting crazy. So people need to be on the lookout for all these things. It's starting to get very serious, and I have the feeling that at any time, things could go very wrong. So, myself and other channels have mentioned before that people need to be on the lookout for the grid down, and once the grid goes down, you need to be on red alert. You need to be defensive. Don't ever go out looking for any trouble, of course, but you have every right to defend your home and your property and stand your ground. The mark of the beast is making its rounds. You don't have to stick your butt up in the air and take it. Basically, you can stand up for yourself. Things are getting serious, and our allies and this nation too has all been subverted. It's all part of the Chi-Com and Russian fourth gen hybrid war doctrines, and they work with entities, NGOs like the WEF, World Economic Forum. So, I just wanted to put that out there and remind people of these things, because it's all very serious and it's all coming to a head. I mean, we don't know when, but we know it's coming very soon. I say that a lot, but, I need, with repetition, helps people understand. So may Yeshua bless and keep you all always.